Hey and welcome back to Vita vs 3DS. In this video I review Fire Emblem Awakening. Like with all my reviews, the graphics, sound, and gameplay will be reviewed, and then an overall score, which is not an average, will be given at the end of the review, which reflects my overall opinion of the game. Graphics are never the crux of any strategy RPG, but Fire Emblem brings decent, if inconsistent, visuals. Characters in the overworld and battle map are represented by 2D sprites. I was disappointed by this, not because of the fact that they were 2D, but because they were such low quality 2D devoid of all but the simplest animations and detail. Environments in the battle maps are surprisingly good looking, with buildings and rocks rendered in 3D, which contrasts surprisingly well with the 2D sprites on the battlefield. Occasionally, effects will sweep over the battle map like birds or leaves or ash, which pop out on the screen with 3D enabled, which is awesome. The in-game character sprites are decent at best. Textures are a little muddy and faces do look a little strange, but they get the job done. Something odd about the character models, however, is that they're all missing feet. All of them. This bizarre art style choice is made even more bizarre when we see character art or characters in the CG cutscenes with their feet intact. It may seem like a small detail, but trust me when I say that once you see it, you cannot unsee it, and it will bother you. Aside from those issues, Fire Emblem Awakening is a pretty decent looking game that doesn't do much to offend the eyes. Graphics get a 7 on 10. Fire Emblem's music is a strong point of the game. There are several themes on different maps which play in the background, which amp up when you engage other characters in battle. This helps set the tone for the epic battles of the game. While out of battle, the music is usually appropriate to what's happening. Light-hearted conversations with team members are often accompanied by light-hearted themes, and vice versa. Sound effects are well done aside from the terrible walking sounds, which sound like horse hooves walking on cobblestone regardless of what the characters are walking on. The voice acting is also rather good. All of the main characters are well voiced and acted during the cutscenes. What breaks my heart is that 99% of all the scenes in the game are not voiced, including the extremely important scenes, which are a little awkward to watch without proper voice acting. I don't understand why Nintendo went to the trouble of getting such strong voice actors in the first place if they're barely going to use them in the game. Despite this, the strong music and good voice acting, when available, carry the sound to a decent 7 on 10. The gameplay section of this review will be scored off of my playthrough experience, which was played on the hard setting with classic mode enabled. Hard mode makes enemies significantly stronger, and classic mode makes it that if a character dies, he or she is permanently removed from the party, thus making every single decision count. With this in mind, I must say that Fire Emblem is definitely more strategic than most strategy RPGs. Enemies, regardless of difficulty, will swarm weak party members and kill them quickly if you don't position them properly. There are several weapon types in the game, each of which are strong against other weapon types or character types, while at the same time weak against another. Fire Emblem features a pairing system, which lets you pair up two characters to increase their stats, and which sometimes lets them attack or defend with each other. The more you pair up two characters, the more the relationship improves, and you'll eventually unlock support conversations, which once completed, brings the relationship closer and increases the bonuses they receive when they pair up again. It also features an upgrading system. Any character can change into another class once their level reaches a certain amount, or even change to the master version of that class, if they max out their level at 20. I personally found the leveling system a little strange, as I maxed out my character's master class just halfway through my playthrough of the game, making him seem too powerful in comparison to many of the enemies and other characters. I felt the game could have benefited from another tier of class leveling. Fire Emblem's story is very strong. Without spoiling much, it involves an epic quest to change the future. I really like how it deals with more mature subject matter than in most Nintendo games. Sure, the occasional dastard is thrown in place as a kiddie substitute for the word bastard, but there is no denying the darker tone of this game when compared to the majority of Nintendo games. This darker tone, however, is contrasted with many instances of side quests or conversations which are much more lighthearted, too lighthearted given the context of the story, which end up hurting the game in my opinion. For example, despite the fact that you're dealing with saving the world, nearly all of the support conversations are extremely goofy and stupid. Heck, there is even a marriage system in the game, which activates automatically once a male and female character obtain the required support level, but even those are ridiculously bad. It's like two characters just meet, go out for a walk, have an argument, then end up married just like that, which seems rather silly and took away from the experience. Still, the main story, without deviating into side quests, is very strong. Fire Emblem's strategic gameplay, especially in classic mode, combined with its strong main story and rewarding leveling system make for great gameplay. The gameplay of Fire Emblem gets an 8.5 out of 10. Fire Emblem Awakening is a very good, albeit quite overrated, RPG. I feel that the extremely high scores it's been getting are more of a function of the fact that we have not had many great RPGs this handheld generation than a testament to the overall quality of the game. But there is no denying that this is indeed a quality game and definitely worth the money for fans of the genre. Overall, Fire Emblem Awakening gets a 7.5 out of 10.